You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
News Talk ZB, time to get you across the Tasman and bring in our Australian correspondent Adam Peacock across various media platforms, including codesports.com.au. Adam, thanks for joining us. A bit to get through today, so let's kick into it with Joey Manu. He's told the Sydney Roosters he'll likely leave the club at the end of the NRL season. He's looking at multiple lucrative offers from rugby clubs in both France and Japan. Two-part question. Is this a surprise? And how do you reckon Joey Manu would go playing the 15-man code?
Yeah, g'day, Piney. I don't think it's a big surprise. There was murmurs that he was looking around, and look, if he was going to stay with the Roosters, definitely he would have re-signed a long-term extension by now. He's that type of player. He's the type of player that you do sign 2 years in advance to kind of carry on a 5-year contract, if you like. So he's obviously held that at bay while he's fielded these offers, and yeah, he'd have some lucrative stuff coming across his desk for sure, or his agent would for sure, in France, as we know, the hub of cashed-up rugby union clubs, and Japan as well. Probably France is where he's going to really test himself. And I could see him playing as a 13, if you like, a crash ball 13. He's a pretty powerful runner. But yeah, it's a blow for the Roosters, but he has said, by all reports, that when he does come back to rugby league, he'll do a Sonny Bill. He'll only come back to one club, and that'll be the Roosters. So, yeah, I think that the Roosters would see that and go, look, we can't compete with that money. Let him go and hope he comes back.
We'll keep tabs on where Joey Manu ends up. As you say, he won't be short of suitors. Yesterday, the Australian Test cricket squad for the tour to New Zealand later in the month and into March was named. We just absolutely love this. We've got South Africa here at the moment, Adam, as you probably know, but it's a very much a diluted C or D team with most of their players playing in the local T20 competition. Nothing like it for Australia. Man, this is going to be an epic Test series. Michael Nessa with a recall. Was that the biggest talking point?
Yeah, probably. We've got a situation here at the moment of Stark, Hazelwood, Cummins. They've stayed fit and they've continued to take a number of wickets in every test match they play, and it seems like they share it around. One test is Josh, the next one it's Pat, and then it's Mitch. So it's a question of who's next. Now, we've got guys like Lance Morris who can bowl 150 k's an hour lurking, but he got injured in a one-day match last week with a side strain. You've got guys like Joe Richardson, who's perennially injured, and some younger guys taking a stack of wickets in Sheffield Shield cricket. And all along, you kind of forget about the guys who have been standing on the cab rank for the longest, and that's Michael Nessa and also Scotty Boland, who did that famous thing at the MCG a couple of years ago, taking six for barely nothing against England in an Ashes test. But Nesa's the one. It makes sense. He can move the ball through the air. He can bat. He's a bowling all-rounder, basically, because he's got a couple of first-class centuries, and he's elite as a fieldsman. I think in the Big Bash, the 2020 competition we have over here, there was a competition to work out who took the best catch, and the semi-finals were Michael Nessa against Michael Nessa and Michael Nessa against Michael Nessa. So he's a pretty good cricketer. That's what I'm trying to get at. So, yeah, it's interesting. So we're coming on with our big guns over there for that Test series, and I, for one, can't wait, because I reckon you guys will pick a pretty strong team as well. So it's going to be a great little Test series. Yeah,
without question. So Cameron Green will stay at 4, will he?
Yeah. They'll stick with that. They want to give that time. So Steve Smith will open, Cameron Green at 4. They're not just going to give it a go even for these two. If Cameron Green walks away with like 20 runs in 2 tests, they'll stick with it for the next Test series. They see him as the long-term option, because really at the top, there's no one like scoring double tons every Shield game at the moment to knock the door down. So, yeah, Green will go there.
And to the Socceroos, knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Asian Cup in extra time against South Korea. I know you've spoken to Graham Arnold, the coach of the Socceroos, in the last couple of days. How has this been received among the footballing public, and how has Graham Arnold responded to that feedback?
Yeah, it's weird actually, because Arnie put it as he's in the realm of the Italy disaster when Lucas Neal slid in that round of 16 to give away a penalty, and also the Iran match of 1997 when we led 2-0 and then somehow missed out on the spot at the World Cup. They're two of the biggest disasters in Australian Socceroos history, and Arnie put this in the realm of level of disappointment, but it didn't kind of resonate all throughout like those other two throughout the football community, mainly because it's 2 o'clock in the morning and it's the Asian Cup. And yeah, it was a weird one, but yeah, he has copped it a bit for his tactics. And I put it to him, and I said, it seems like when you win, you're a master motivator of men, but when you lose, it's all about your tactics. And you could see him kind of flinch, and it kind of hits him a bit because he makes the point. We scored 9 goals, conceded 3, 2 from set pieces. My tactical analysis is used at ASC elite coaching courses, which it is. And yeah, we're hard to break down, and we play above what the level of the squad would indicate where we could get to. So all those are valid. So it's an interesting relationship Graham Arnold has with the wider football community here in Australia. You've got those who believe in him and those who are just waiting to whack him. So, yeah, it's weird, but he'll get through it. And look, it's onward now to the World Cup, and hopefully you guys can join us as part of that 48-team extravaganza over there in a couple of years.
Well, let's hope so. Look, I think something would be catastrophically wrong if we can't somehow get out of Oceania, but you never want to put the cart before the horse too much. Adam, as always, great to get the chance to chat Australian sport with you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll do it again next Saturday.
No worries, mate. And wouldn't it be good if we ended up in the same group over there in Mexico? Like a bunch of Kiwis and a bunch of Aussies run around Mexico for a couple of weeks. Look out.
Well, I think you and I should probably get our requests in to join them if that was going to be the case. Great stuff, mate. Always good to chat.
Thanks, Piney.
Thanks, Adam. Adam Peacock. Yeah, I could imagine that. Bunch of Kiwi and Australian football fans following their respective sides through the World Cup. But we can get drawn into Australia's group. Well, I mean, let's not get too carried away. Let's get there first. But with direct entry for Oceania, you'd have to think the All Whites will be there. Australia normally qualify out of Asia. And because we're in different confederations, we could be drawn together in the same group. The match schedule for the 48-team World Cup was released earlier this week. And by the sounds of it, it's going to be 4-team pools, 12 of them. So they were for a while considering the possibility of 16 3-team groups, and you'd play 2 group games, and then the top team in each group would go into the round of 16. But I think they really like the drama of having simultaneous games on the final day of pool play, which led to some really interesting and intriguing football at the last World Cup and the ones before that. So they're sticking with 4-team groups. Quite how they'll work it out, don't know. Let's just hope New Zealand are there at the US, Mexico, Canada World Cup in 2026.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.